What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Thursday evening, sitting out here watching The Big Bang Theory, and I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys how I make my flank steak fajitas. Now, you guys have seen my shrimp fajitas, but I make my flank steak fajitas a whole lot more differently than my shrimp fajitas. And since I'm going to prepare them today, it's time for me to show you how things get done. So let me get all the stuff out. All right, guys, the first thing you got to start with in terms of flank steak is you got to have your beef. It's the most important thing. This here is from Sam's Club, Angus beef. It's about $15.32. Great flank steak. You want to make sure you have a little bit of marbling in it. You don't want to take that all out completely because not only is the fat is what gives it the flavor, but on a ketogenic diet, you do need those extra calories there. So it's not really going to make much difference. Being on a ketogenic diet, a little fat ain't going to hurt one bit. And in fact, it actually helps out, ironically enough, in fat burning properties here. But in terms of cooking purposes here, I always like to trim a little bit of fat off of it, which I'm going to cut up in just a minute here. But you don't want to take too much off there. So next thing I'm going to show you here is, you've cut up a couple vegetables. I have green peppers, white onions, and some tomatoes, of course, here. You've already seen that before. Now, if you guys are wondering about the Taco Bell seasoning, I do not use that with flank steak seasoning. I only use salsa picante sauce here. I use salt, or excuse me, that was this is actually pepper, a little sea salt for flavor, and this here is the Grill Master spray. And I'm going to use this with my good old-fashioned teppanyaki grill. And as you can see, this has been used a lot, though. I mostly use this for Asian dishes, but this is perfect for flank steak. You get that nice grill flavor, flat top with a lot of high heat up there. It just cooks everything out really awesome there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and chop up the flank steak, and we're going to get started. Alright guys, I've got all of the flank steak chopped up. I got the salt and pepper on there. As far as cutting it up there, I actually use scissors in order to cut up the flank steak. I just find it's a lot easier. I've done it by knife before, which is fine, but the scissors work a lot better. After I finish salting, seasoning the meat, I've had it sitting out here for about 10 minutes, and the purpose of that is so the meat gets to room temperature, and it makes it a lot easier to cook there, because you don't want it stone cold out of the refrigerator. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to get the pan nice and hot. Alright guys, the pan is getting hot. I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of that Grill Master seasoning, and the purpose of me using that is just to ensure that that nothing actually sticks, but I also don't want to put so much up there because whenever I put the flank steak on, I want to make sure I get that nice good char, especially on a flat top. And this is why I enjoy using a teppanyaki grill when it comes to making flank steak fajitas, is because it's going to be really good in putting that char up there. So once this pan heats up to appropriate temperature, I'm going to start putting in some flank steak. Ah, will you look at that here. You know, now I got the flank steak on the grill, and everything is just coming up just nice. Basically, you know, I'm going to let it, I put it all on the top of the grill. It really doesn't make a difference here. It's going to sit up there for at least 10 minutes here until I get a nice good char on it there. And then I'm going to start flipping these over. Once I do that, that's when we're going to add the vegetables here. So I'll be right back once I flip everything over. Alright guys, as you can see, the meat's coming along just nicely. There's still a little bit of pink left, but as you can tell, it's getting charred in just nice. So the next thing we're going to do is, like before, we're going to go ahead and add the vegetables. Yes sir, and we're just going to mix that all in. And my gosh, if you can just smell this from here, I mean, it smells awesome. Look at that. Look at that, folks. Oh, just a little bit popped up there, so that's okay. Part of cooking is, you know, a little bit of burns here and there, so. Does that not look good, folks? Look at that fajita. It's all coming together. Nice, good old char. And now we're going to go and add the last thing here, the salsa picante. So I'm getting it out right now. All right. And we're just going to stir that around, folks. Like I said, it doesn't take too long for the vegetables to get cooked up or anything. But like I said, I don't want to do too much on the vegetables because just like before with the steak fajitas, you know, I don't want any of this to wilt. Now, when you cook flank steak on a teppanyaki grill, there's a lot of water and stuff that's going to be in place, which I actually use paper towels. But I do also want to touch base on the fat on the flank steak there. A lot of guys, you know, they go a little bit too lean, and they go so lean that the body, when you have fat in your meals there, just a little bit, not too much there, you know, that keeps your body from going into starvation mode. You're still at a low calorie, you're still at a caloric deficit, caloric deficit. However, when you have a sufficient amount of fat that's in the meal, it is going to be a ketogenic diet there. It just prevents your body from going into starvation mode there. So that's why it's always important to have a little bit of fat in your meals there. It's also important why, you know, I take omega-3 fatty acids here as well. Not only that, it just keeps your body in check. After all, fat is essential for the body. You don't want too much safety fat, but at the same time, you do need some in the body. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because we're pretty much done. And we're going to get everything plated. Alright guys, that is it. You know, flank steak fajitas. You know, I'll get out the usual carb cutter tortillas, but you know, I just want y'all guys to see just the color on it there. You know, and just how, and believe me, if you guys are here, this smells and tastes fucking awesome. But this is how I make my flank steak fajitas. And that's all I got to say today, folks. You guys take care. I'm going to go ahead and finish plating this up. But have